What does it mean to be a wolf? To be worthy of joining a legion which the fabled Primarch Leman Russ sat at the head of during the Horus Heresy? Is it that a wolf must be able to survive the harshest and coldest environments? Could it be that to be a wolf, one must hunt and fight with pure ferocity, sinking fang and claw into prey and would-be predators? Or maybe it's to live in harmony with one's environment, to not only survive, but thrive. My name is Mr. Landshark, a simple man with a simple dream. Put myself to the test, see if I am worthy of joining the 6th Legion, to see if I am worthy of becoming a space wolf. For this challenge, I will be playing a game called The Long Dark. I'm going to start off on the vanilla map, on the top left hand side, working my way throughout the entirety of the map until I get to the bottom right hand side, in which a lighthouse will be just on the coast. I will have 30 days to complete this task, and to show my worthiness in combat I will need to collect at least one wolf skin during my travels. Not only that, but I will also need to fire a flare when I reach the lighthouse, to let people know that I've succeeded and survived. If I die during my journeys, however, I will have to respawn in the area that I died in and add 5 days to my journey. If you want to do your version of this challenge, you can use this code to use the same settings that I've used in this game. It's kind of like Stalker, but not as hard as Interlope. It's like a happy in the middle between two. Still challenging, while not being so challenging that you're going to pull your hair out and not enjoy the challenge. So we spawn in Hushed River Valley. Not in the best circumstances, I do have to say. It's night time, so visibility is quite low, and the temperature is also very low indeed. See on the bottom left-hand side of the screen, my temperature has already dropped to, well, is it 3/4? 3/4, I'm good at maths, of my maximum temperature. It's going to fall down quite rapidly. Now, I've practiced this challenge a couple of times, maybe about 6 months ago, when I had the idea. I've been too busy to really do this. So I've been, I've done a little bit of practicing, and I've, had looks at many different spawn places, but no, not familiar with this area whatsoever. Thankfully, though, I do remember that signal fire. So my thinking is, right, it's on top of somewhere. I need to get more elevation. See how I can get there. So do a little bit of parkour over the, what is this, a log? A thick branch, maybe? But we're gonna go see if we can maybe get some parity, maybe get a better view of what's going on. I'll tell you what, the cold is cutting us deep. We're crossing over into Moose Overlook now. Now, I mentioned, and you probably saw in the introduction, that there's wolves about. The wolves might get us. But there's also moose. Mooses, moosei, meeses, as well as bears. So, 3 deadly creatures that we always need to keep our eyes on. Thankfully, moose, whatever you call the plural of moose, they are not necessarily super-duper aggressive, so we might be relatively safe. And thankfully, we've got the spirit of a mountain goat in us. So we are just going to sneak down casually, like nothing's our problem. Gotta be careful of sprains, though. If we sprain ourselves on the way down, then we basically twist our ankle, and it's all bad. But that's fine, we survive, and we push on. We see some waterfalls. Now, waterfalls usually mean that some nice shrubberies about. And we can always harvest shrubberies for things like cattails and edible bits from the cattails. Cattails are very important in the early game of a Long Dark playthrough, as you are able to use their fluffy bits as kindling. There we go, cattail head. Quite useful. We'll collect a couple of these as we go about. I mean, we're already in freezing temperatures at the moment. We're going to be careful, as the longer we are cold, the more chance we have of getting hypothermia. So we're going to try and place it on a fire. But me, not being a very smart man, realised that, hey, Mr. Landshark, don't place a fire on top of a frozen lake. You'll never guess what happens if you set a fire on top of a frozen lake. It just becomes a regular lake. So we're going to avoid going in there and decide, right, okay, let's get away from the lake. And you'll notice on the top side, there's like a little symbol that says we're out of the wind. If we're out of the wind, that means we are a little bit warmer and we don't, have our fire blown out. It's going to try and make a fire. Now, what are the chances of this fire succeeding? Let's just sit back and just...
Come
No,
on.
never mind. When we really need a fire, when we're most desperate, that's when the fire doesn't work. That's okay, we've got some more cattails. We're going to see if we can snaggle a few more hot bits on there. It's always tense when you're suffering from potential hypothermia. Always tense indeed. Does it go on? Just narrowly, it goes on.
It worked.
So we're going to throw a butt ton of sticks on top, try and get that temperature up, and curl by the fire and hope that the fire gets warm enough that we are able to warm ourselves up by it. I mean, we're able to melt snow, turn into drinking water. That's fairly useful, but as you can tell, on the bottom left-hand side, our temperatures are going up, which is a bit of a painful thing. We have a look to see if we can go for some bigger logs. Bigger logs mean warmer fire, but we don't have any tools. We have spawned with a couple of matches, we've spawned with a bit of cloves, a smidgen of food as well, but we've got nout. So this fire is absolutely useless. We've wasted time here. We've now got unsafe water. We'll take it anyway. Unsafe water is better than no water. And we're going to go journey off and see if we can find something. Preferably a cave. If you're indoors, whether it be a cave or a house, be able to warm up. Now, the problem with this place is, in Hushed River Valley, is that there are no structures. It's a really, really difficult place to spawn in on, especially at night time. So we've got to basically find somewhere, whether nook or cranny or cave, where we're able to basically mass some heat up together. Also got a torch on just in case a wolf comes at us. Wolves are scared of fire, so if we've got a fire knocking around, that will keep us safe, but so far not had any wolves. So what the plan is that I'm skirting around the edges of the entire place, hoping that eventually, if I come across an edge, I'll find a cave. Sadly, that signal fire looks very familiar. We've gone around in a circle. That's not good. All this wasted effort. So we go back to where we came. Back to the cattails. See if we could figure out a way back up. In fact, actually, no, I lied. This is a bit before the cattails. This is a different lake. Slightly different lake. I'm doing a voice. I'm watching a pre-made cut. I'm not very organised. This is how I do things. I know people write scripts. I don't write scripts. I just go for it. Oh, we found a mountain rope. Look how cool this is. Gonna give that a climb. Notice how our stamina on the bottom right-hand side there. Go down pretty quickly. It's not great climbing up a rope when you've got hypothermia, or potential hypothermia. I look to see if there's any ledges that we can rest our feet on, just to catch up our stamina, but sadly not. There's nothing. However, we're nothing if not tenacious. We're nothing if not stubborn. Liam and Russ would appreciate a stubborn effort. Just a couple more steps to get to the top of the ledge. But sadly, we don't quite have the stamina for it. Our gene scene has yet to be fruitful. So we're gonna, like a defeated pup, crawl all our way back down. So it's just a case of, we're now frozen. We are now also exhausted from that climb. We need to find somewhere to sleep. And in a place like this, there's no structures, no caves. Where there's one fine. Thankfully the winds died down. It's a little bit warmer, all things considered. Now, from what I remember, sometimes there are caves behind waterfalls. I know it's counterintuitive walking through frozen water to get to a cave, but we're already frozen anyway, so it won't make much of a difference. But sadly, Little Bear and Cub Falls, well, there's just naught for us. Nothing indeed, so we are well and truly shafted for a place to sleep. We found our old campfire. We fix ourselves right well. From a campfire, we take charcoal. And we are able to use that charcoal and a bit of paper to make a map. Sadly though, it's too dark. It's not good. And now we've got our first bit of frostbite. So frostbite basically reduces your maximum health. And that maximum health drops down quicker and quicker the longer you are hypothermiaed. If that is even the correct term. Here we go. We're going to try a fire again. We're completely desperate. The chances of this working are very slim. But the winds died down, so maybe, just maybe, this is going to be at least a little bit warm enough to get our heat back up. First fire fails. I do believe this is our last cattail. So if this doesn't work, and we are well and truly shafted, can it work? Will it do it? Of course it will. Faith fans the flames. So we're just going to throw as many sticks as we can just to get that temperature as high as humanly possible. And while it doesn't look like it, just as we lose all hope, just I'm staring into the fire. Does it? Does it take a little bit longer than anticipated? Am I drunken over talking? There we go, look at this. I know what's going on. Yeah, just ever so narrowly. It's just one pip. Just one arrow upwards. That's going to do us. So we're going to attempt to sleep here. We're going to throw the rest of our sticks on, from what I remember. There we go. Even our ruined torch. Our wedge going to sleep for 2 hours. A quick 40 winks. Just to make sure that we get through this day or this evening. And with the wind picking up just a smidgen, thankfully we're still protected by the wind. We've got a couple of hours left in our fire. We're going to start cooking some water. But sadly, just as we're about to cook some water, or boil water even, if you want to use the correct verb, the wind comes in, and our fire time goes from a couple of hours to a mere couple of minutes. So we don't have time. We don't have time or the inclination to stick around. I look longingly at the fire while picking up the bedroll, deciding to move out. Now the idea here would be to go back to the mountaineer climbing rope and get out of this place where there's no caves and no provisions. But as you can see, I can see absolutely bugger all in this storm. So I think, right, okay, I'm now also knackered. I'm now also frozen again. The only chances are just finding the very corners of a corner, just hoping that maybe we can make another fire. Hopefully it's only a short blizzard, only like a short kind of flash in the pan maybe. Sadly, my health is down, almost dying. We find this narrow shelter, but just as I'm about to start laying down the fire, I start twisting and turning. When you're close to death in this game, you kind of lose your footing a bit. It's very hard to stay still, so you've got to grab what you can. So we're going to attempt to start another fire. We're out of the wind for now. Sadly, the fire once again, we're not very good at making fires. It's not working out very well for us, is it? We're going to give it a go. Another go. Second time's a charm. That's what my old dad used to say. And I love how the background noise, as the tension increases. The fire is struck. But we are stumbling all over the place. We're just trying to put more fuel into the fire. We've got some wood, got some sticks. That should keep it nice and warm for us. And now desperately we just need to place that bed somewhere near the fire. We can't stand very well. We are just not able to. And sadly, our first day is not a success. Not a success at all. So if being alive for 1 day and dying, that's 6 days in total. This is now the start of day 7. I haven't even left the main place. Nice spawn though. The weather is nice. We are near a cave, of all things. Would you happen to know? Oh my goodness, this is the exit of this area. Bastards. Like, if we started in this area, we just look at the frustration in the camera. Like, if we started here, that would have been the most amazing spawn ever. Now double check, just to make sure that the game's not lying to me. The game has a tendency to give you false hope. But no, lo and behold. Hush River Valley Cave. That is us. We're going to pick up some sticks. Just because we can. Just because we don't believe our luck. And we're thinking, right, okay. No point in going into the next area completely and totally unequipped. Let's go out and see what we can manage to snag. Now, the weather isn't too dangerous. And if it does get too cold, we can always run back to the cave so long as we don't get lost. Which is not impossible. But I'm fairly confident I won't get lost. So we see these old men beards. Now they're good for making sure that we don't get any infected wounds. It's always good to snag a couple of those. Also, beards are just cool anyway. We also see some of these little rose things that we shall take. So we can prepare them and turn them into tea. Which, spoiled late, I completely forgot to do for the entire playthrough, but still grab some anyway. There's a rabbit. Like Elmer Fudd, it's hunting season. And I see him. I'll grab a rock. Like a mighty hunter of old, I lob it, first throw, and I get it. But sadly, I was too far away, the rabbit regains consciousness. And what comes from this? I mean, I'll give it another good throw. Just look how almost, I mean, so accurate. So I think, right, okay, I'll definitely get him. And the next 15 minutes of my life is spent trying to nab this rabbit. And nab it, if you will. But sadly, the first two throws were clearly not a good fortune or not a good predictor in how my accuracy of rabbits is going to go for the rest of this playthrough, I believe. But hey ho, you know what? Give it a really good go, and then decide, fine, okay. Well, we've got all that we need. We've got some heating stuff, got some medical stuff. We're frozen now, so let's just make a quick fire, and then we should be good as gold to carry on. We need the fire not only to keep warm, to boil water, also to get torches. Now, as I mentioned earlier, torches are extremely useful for keeping wolves away. So what we're going to do is that we're going to nab a couple of torches. Because I'm going to attempt to. I've saw other YouTubers do this. there's a specific mechanic, but don't worry, I've got a couple of torches now. It's totally fine. I found coal. My goodness, I'm like a northern Englishman in a cave. Naturally, I just find coal. It's in my blood. In the same way that some nation states and some nationalities can naturally find certain items, I can find coal just by being around place. And look at that. The new area. And what a wonderful sunset as well. We're in Mountain Town. Now this area has got a big old town in the middle. We're full of resources. And remember that we need to find a flare gun so we can let the people at the lighthouse that we're going towards know that we've completed the mission. We also need some sort of weaponry to take on a wolf. Now, melee against a wolf never works. Just does not work. But guns, always useful. Look at that, we found a road. Now, roads usually lead to some sort of civilization. Whether it's a small hut, whether it's a hunting lodge, or it's a full-blown town. So we think, right, okay, we'll follow the road. But here we are, our first wolf. Off in the distance. It won't come, it'll come near us, but it will not get us when we've got some fire. Problem is, as you can see on the bottom right-hand side, don't have much fire left. Now, to swap between torches, that's totally fine. But sometimes when you swap between torches, that's when the wolves tend to get you. So we're going to sprint away. We're not running away. We're just falling back. Thankfully, there's a car. We can hide in the car. Super useful. So we're just going to chill out there for a moment. Get some crisps. Those crisps are the lifeblood of the 6th Legion. It's well known that all Space Wolves are a big fan of crisps. My personal favourite are Monster Munch. I don't know how you feel about them. The pickled onion variety. I know some people go for the roast beef. But you know what? I'm not a basic bitch. There's another wolf, so we're going to throw an empty thing at them. And flares are much quicker at lighting up. So we're just going to get a flare out. Flares last for significantly longer than a torch does. But once you set them on fire, that's it. We found a bridge. We found more vehicles. So we're going to hill for more stuff. Found a chocolate bar. Found a good jacket as well, which will keep us warm. As we found, fire isn't always the godsend that it is. Sometimes you also need warm clothing to add to the fire as well. Searching more cars. Find some lantern fuel. Another flare. It's always good. More flares, the safer you are. And look at him. He's out there. He can smell us. That's fine. Well, as long as we're in the car, as long as we've got a flare, he can't possibly get us. We're just going to try and politely ignore him. Throw a flare to the floor. Won't come anywhere near us. And what if I throw a rock at him? There we go. Take that, you bugger. Rocks and flares. That's how you combat Mother Nature. So we continue our daylight robbery of people's cars. That's fine though. Space Wolves nick things. Found a note as well.
I know you can't help but go. Just be safe. Love you.
Do you like that? A little bit of AI voice work. I ain't reading shit. Now I'm going to get the computer to do that for me. But lo and behold, we mentioned big predators. There's a bear over there. And bears, as far as I'm aware, you can scare them away with flares and fire. But sometimes they tend to ignore them, so I'm just going to stay put in the car for a little bit. Mind my own business. See if I can find any more bits and bobs. But then eventually I think, right, it's time to go. The bear's moved on. But he hasn't. He's still there. Thankfully though, just bob and weave. And then bob and weave again. We're just going to slow but surely make our way over into different parts of the cars. Keeping our minds on the bear. And now we'll also face the bear as well, so we'll be able to see where he is. Nothing major in the car. We're going to wait for an hour. Hopefully the bear will leave us alone. We're now frozen there. That car was not nearly as warm as we were hoping it were going to be. Now it's night time. So the bear's somewhere around here. It's dark. It's hard to see. So just as a precaution, we'll take out another flare. I don't trust the torch. Using flares like this is not always the best idea. You tend to want to save them for emergencies. But I think being in close proximity of a bear is as good an emergency as anything else. We see him, we hear him. But that's fine, we run away. He's not going to catch us. He might have 4 legs. But we've got 2 legs. Our training to join the Adeptus Astartes. Now I wonder, in a straight-up fight, who would win, a bear or a space marine? I'd like to think it's a fairly even kind of setting. But yeah, we need to warm up before frostbite kicks in. Thankfully, we find a cave. I'm going to settle in the cave for a little while and see what we can find. Naturally, the cave is warm enough for us, so we don't need to worry too much about heating ourselves. Rather than making up a fire and settling down, we're going to press on into the cave while our flare is still good and golden. And naturally, again, Northern Man finds coal in a cave. And sadly, we find a fellow traveller who's not quite survived. Another person trying to join the Space Wolf Legion. He's brought water, he's brought sticks, but very little else. Not much else we can use from him. We'll take a torch as well, though. Clearly he didn't have the stones or the gall to survive. Or the respawning rule of adding 5 days. Realistically, if this was a real run, I would have died the first day, which is not the best thing, but hey-ho. We're still in Mountain Town region. We're just out at a different place. It's night time. So what we're going to do is, rather than push on and push on, we're going to set up camp for the night. Going to maybe start a fire to warm up quicker. Make some food, make some water. Going to think about the longevity of things. But sadly, I've got no way of making another fire. I think I've run out of, what's it called? Kindling. So I'm just going to sleep. You know what? We can save the cooking and stuff for later. It's not quite bright morning yet, but thankfully we find an old prepper shelter. Now, prepper shelters are normally absolutely chock-a-block with really useful resources. They've got guns, food, ammunition, lighting resources. You'll never guess what we find in here. We find absolutely bugger all. Clearly whoever lived here has taken all their stash and has left us with absolutely nothing. So that's good. We've been very lucky on this run so far, in the sense that we've not been very lucky. They've left us their bed, but we've got our own bed, a portable bed, a superior bed, but absolutely nothing whatsoever. We've got some cardboard, so we're going to at least take that just so it's value for something. And basically decide, right, well, we've got some kindling now. We can now go back to base. Found a deer. Oh dear, indeed. Well, forgive me, I'll be making that joke several times in this playthrough. Back in the cave, though. Well, we'll make some fire now that we've got some kindling. And from what I understand, once the fire's made, we'll make a cup of coffee. Which is usually not what you drink before you go to bed. But we shall do all that with a good, proper sleep. And we shall start day 8. Fresh as a fiddle. Fresh as a daisy. I do believe. If it is day 8, I might have got my days confused. No, it's definitely day 8. Looking at my notes. Don't have a script, but I do have notes. Which is something. We have breakfast. In the form of chocolate. And fizzy pop and stuff. Now it's relatively bright. Sunshine. It's a bit foggy. But a bit mountainous. Going to pop our torch on that. Watch it roll down the mountain. As we get a glimpse of where we are. So not much to really guess on this. And you'll notice that the deer that we left downstairs has now been joined by another deer, which implies that there was a wolf hanging around. So we've got to remain vigilant, got to remain careful. Cannot... Well, thing is that we don't really have much in the way of medical supplies, so... While normally one single wolf attack isn't the most dangerous thing in the whole wide world, being caught off guard at this stage is not going to do us any favours. We continue to mount and go down the side, pick up some more rocks, just in case we need to throw shit at the wolf. Or not the wolf, but any kind of wolf. Now look at that, there's a rabbit. Let's see if we can regain some glory. Not quite. They're quick buggers, these rabbits. But narrowly managed to crack his head in. We pick him up. We give him a nice pat on the head. And he joins us in the bag.
Need to find something
over there.
to escape this
I don't know if you can hear him, but there's a wolf knocking round. Not too keen. Not too keen at all. Gonna fall back a bit. Again, we're not running away. We're just falling back. The better ground. And see what else there is away from the wolf. Maybe there's better equipment somewhere else. We carry on, carrying on. And we find some rose bushes as well as a place to climb down. Maybe we can find the road again. And this time it'll lead us to somewhere useful rather than just abandoned cars and bears. Find some more rose bits, which we will definitely not be using. So I keep on forgetting to use them, but we do have them. They will be in our inventory for the entire game. I found a sign. It's an arrow pointing towards the Eiffel Tower. Did not know that we were in France, but there we go. We explain a lot, this being France. It's not really, it's Canada, but my headcanon is it's France now. Moving forward, and from the mist comes this mighty radio tower. Hopefully there'll be some resources around the radio tower. Something that we might be able to use. Looking into the big old box, we find charcoal. So, absolutely useless equipment. Won't help us at all. Something saying scenic view. I'll tell you now. A bit foggy for a scenic view. Looking here now, we could repair this. Won't help us on our actual journey. We also accidentally cast a flare. The fury in my eyes. As I was trying to switch that on, but it's broken. Can't really use electronic equipment. Not in this game, not until there's an Aurora Borealis. Yeah, we can't see what's down there. We have no idea what's going on. So we are going to continue exploring around this area. Thankfully, we see another... Well, not thankfully, but we see another failed aspirant. Found a knife. But nothing else. But a knife will do us. A knife will do us just fine. If all else, if we fail to ward the wolves away, we need to fight them off. We can use a knife. So, make a fire. Throw the flare away because it's a bit noisy. Don't like it. We'll try and map things out, but visibility is too shite. So think, okay, well, what can we do? We can harvest a rabbit. And a very gruesome display. We're just going to get a knife and just hack into it. Like no man's business. Thankfully, you don't see any gore. There's no gore in this game. There we go, we've got some rabbit. So we're just going to pop that bad boy straight on. Give it a little bit of a cook. Going to actually boil some water for once. And we're going to continue on. And walking back from where we came, we find another cave. Plenty more coal where that came from. And within there, haha, we found a gun and ammunition. As well as a book that explains to us how to maintain our gun. So now we finally have some kind of weapon against the wolves. Should we see one? No need to avoid combat now. We can now take them on. 6 cylinders of righteous fury. Ready, willing, and Vince Cable. Another rabbit tries to run away from us. We are quite intimidating beasts now.
Need to rest soon.
But, alas, trying to find a way off this place. We don't want to go back up there. Because that will lead us back to the bear and all those wolves and stuff. Need to be a bit more creative. See if we can find anywhere else for us to traverse. But while we're here, may as well kill another rabbit. Give him another pat on the head. There we go. And we go back here. The weather is clearing up now, so we can actually start mapping things out, and we find that actually, at the bottom of the hill, there's the road. So that's the place to go. Scenic view shows that what you can see, and actually the fog is clearing up a bit. There's the town. Amazing stuff. So within there, we'll find all the resources that we need for the majority of our trip down towards the lighthouse. Just a case of getting down there.
My feet.
We managed to do it. Climbing down some mountains, doing a bit of mountain goating as usual. And what we're going to do, we're going to have a quick cheeky look at this toolbox before we go into the big house and really start searching this entire area. Find some wires, but we don't need them. We'll leave them behind. But out of nowhere comes the wolf. Oh, we're going to pull out a gun, but could not pull out a gun in time. We pull out a knife and try and stab him good and proper. And he leaves us bleeding on the ground. I think, my goodness. Can't stay out here for any length of time just in case the wolf comes back. Must get into the house ASAP. And I'm panicking at the moment. I can't believe that wolf came out of absolutely nowhere. So I think, okay, shit, I've not actually made any bandages. What can I do? Well, I've got some antiseptic for the infection. Now, in the situation, if you're bleeding to death, don't worry about the infection. Whatever you do, worry about the blood loss first. But no, my panic state. I apply some antiseptic. Shit, I need some bandages. Where can I go for bandages? Managed to throw myself upstairs. Realised that, I definitely need bandages. For bandages, I need cloth. Some curtains over there. I can just reach at them. Rip them apart. Just as my heart is failing. Right, crafting menu. Start crafting some bandages. But sadly, if I was just a little bit quicker, I prioritised the bleeding, I would have survived, but that is another day, another death. It's not great. So we died on day 8, which means that we've got to add 5 days on, which makes it day 13. With this being a new day, it's now day 14. We are nearly halfway through the allotted time given to us in our 30-day challenge. We've not even began exploring, really, the second area. Bearing in mind there are about 7 areas that we need to crack on through. That's okay, we won't give up. We are still within the mountain lake area. And we just so happen to find an old abandoned gas gas station. What do they call them in Canada? I'm not entirely sure. Whether they use the American lingo or the English lingo. Not entirely sure. I've never been to Canada. Don't actually know that many Canadians. We've got 1 or 2 Canadians in the Discord. Links in the description as always, but don't know that many. Sadly, we can't get in there because we don't have a pry bar. Can't exactly break our way into there. Already frozen. There's not much wind, but clearly the game is getting a little bit cold. Thankfully, we make our way down the road into the town. And narrowly avoiding a wolf, we run inside a pitch black house within the mountain town. Not sure exactly where things are. We're going to fumble around and see if we can find... We might find a fridge. Nothing really in the fridge. That's okay. That's fine. We can always see if we can pop a bed down and sleep a couple of hours until the sun rises. Yeah, day 14, man. Time is not our friend at the moment. And even with a little sleep, it's still pitch black. So we see if we can... What do we do? Oh, we light a match. So have a general idea of where we are, what kind of environment we're in. And thankfully, we find a stove, a couple of pieces of wood on the floor, so we can actually wait a little bit until the sun properly rises. Then actually start exploring. Actually start seeing if we can nab some useful gubbins, bits, and bobs. So what's in here then? We found some potatoes. Found some fish, always useful. Found some clothes as well. Be able to stay warmer in the winter. A nice shirt. We always love a good shirt. Won't keep us very warm though, but we will always look formal and well dressed for the occasion. Also find better gloves. Well, not better gloves, but we found gloves, and we can always rip down and repair later on. And from now on, it's just a case of just exploring through the entire town and seeing what we can grab. We're in loot goblin mode. Looking through everyone's fridges. Everyone's from the post office. It's always good. We also find a man that's on strike. Clearly in Canada, they are also refusing to work for their wages. Don't find much in the post office. We do come back to the original house in which we died. Because this house is, from what I can remember, where a lot of good and useful stuff is. Found a cupboard. We're a bit over encumbered because of all the rubbish that we picked up on, so we don't need to carry it all around with us for the moment. So we're just going to decide to stick all our books in there. Stick a couple of bits and bobs. We found some golf boots as well. I can't remember exactly what we do with that, but we will certainly just unload ourselves, making sure that we are able to sprint away and use our stamina in the best way humanly possible. But look at that, we found 1 million potatoes as well. So not only do I feel like a Yorkshireman, I also feel a bit like an Irishman. All your potatoes belong to us. Raiding through the fridges. Found some potato soup. Potato soup, sorry, tomato soup. I've got potatoes on the brain now. And a stove as well that we can also do some big cooking on if we really want to. We throw more stuff into more cupboards. We're upstairs now, into the bedrooms. Found a sewing kit. That'll be really, really useful for repairing any broken stuff. Also found a bullet as well. Just in case we need to end it all. We won't be ending it all. We are going to become space wolves. That is our plan. That is our mantra. That is our motto. Moving through things. Find a bathroom. Usually you'll find some sort of medical stuff in here, but no, we find, thankfully, a distress pistol. A flare gun. It's exactly what we need when we get to that library. While we're in here, we find a handsome family picture of a man, presumably his wife and his daughter. Quite a lovely thing. But why is it in the rubbish? Why is it in the spare room? Did they break up? Did she claim the house? As they always do? My goodness. I also found a recipe for Lily's pancakes. So clearly, she's not only hoarded the family love and life, she's also hoarded pancakes. The filthy harlot. That's okay. In post-apocalyptic life, when everything's cold, can't really judge a person. So we're going to steal the curtains. We're just going to get revenge on her. Our man Keith, that's what I'm going to call the husband anyway. Keith has lost the wife, he's lost a child, lost the house. We're going to steal the bitch's curtains. That's the same thing. And while we're looking through, we also see a handsome family photo. Look at that! She got the house, the bastard. Don't you worry, Keith. We've saved you. I do apologise for that minor diatribe, but that's okay. Still on our clothes. And we're now going to use her curtains to repair all our broken stuff. So that's totally fine. We are now well equipped. We've also got her food as well, so don't worry. We're representing men, single men everywhere that's been done in by ex-partners. We're also going to sleep in their bed as well for a good 12... No, we're going to go for 10 hours. We're going to sleep in the... No, sorry, we're going to go for 12 hours. We're going to really enjoy ourselves, because why not, eh? Wake up, start a fire. We also find, within this, once we put our cedar firewood in there, we also find a handsome cooking pot, which will be the main character of this adventure going onwards. We'll certainly be using that for a lot of things. So in that, what we're going to do, I can't quite remember. Oh, we boil more water. We could boil 2 litres of water in there. Also put potato in there as well, just for good measure. After our eating, and our wanton vandalism on Keith's behalf, we decide to mosey on through the houses and see what else we can snag. Not much really in this house from what I can remember. But I must have found something if I put it in the clips. I'm basically doing a cast of my own games. Yeah, we found a replacement fuse if we wanted to fix the radio tower, but we don't want to. Sod that. We're not here to fix radio towers, we're here to collect wolf skins. And go to the lighthouse. Found a canister. Be useful if we ever encountered toxic gas, but we're not up against pardon me. We're not up against a death guard today. It's not a starty on a starty action. Just one man trying to survive the winter. We continue looting anything and everything within sight. Going for some cars, maybe. Do we go for a car? We do go for a car. We found some crackers.
Better take this food.
Always good. Also found some matches as well, which have been insanely useful as well. Without matches, we are a bit shafted. We could try and find a magnifying glass, but then that would require us to use the sunshine. And in the difficulty that I use for this game... Oh, there's a note, hold on.
Remind me to clean out my practice stash from behind the organ. Not much use anymore, sort of like me.
That's telling us that there is a stash. So behind an organ, it will show us on the map. There is a church north of where we are. So we think to ourselves, where are we at the moment? We're just south, well, southeast. Yeah, southeast of where that is. Right, okay, well, stash is always a sign of good stuff to come. So we shall go have a cheeky little look over there. Going across a bridge. We decide to not go across the bridge, but instead grab some cattails on the way. Well, kindling is always quite a useful thing to find. Can't have been many useful things on the bridge anyway. Also found some beef jerky from another failed aspirant. It's quite useful. God bless him for carrying that. We'll make our way towards church off in the distance. But the moment we hear a wolf bark, we jump inside the car, find more chocolate. Or a nut bar. I assume it's chocolate and nuts. To be fair, I don't really rate chocolate and nuts. I think chocolate should just be on its own. You know, I'm not here to judge people. Go for a flare just in case they're outside. Also because I've got tons of flares. They are actually quite heavy as well. So I don't mind using them too much at this stage of the game. We see that wolf off in the distance. We try and skirt around it. And even seems like it runs away from our presence. Really intimidated by our sheer level of confidence. We are the alpha wolf after all. Another wolf, they're charging towards us. So naturally, we pull our flare gun at him. We've got 2 flares, so we can waste one. He doesn't seem to be scared at all. So we're just going to leave him alone to his own business. See if we can sprint to the church. Sanctuary, sanctuary, we shout. That wolf does not sound very happy that we managed to get away from him. That's okay. In the house of God, smallest church in San San. Found more cloth, but wouldn't be right to rip up the curtains and the cloth of our Lord and Saviour, Jesus Christ, or the Emperor.
Where's the good stuff?
To find a stash. And it's just energy drinks, chocolate, and matches. It's a bit of a waste of time, really. Not much useful in this church. You found a woolen scarf there. Scarf's always useful. There we go, we also found another knife. We lost our knife when we died, but now we've got another one. So should we need to skin things, cut things up, that's fine. We go back and there's a shop that we can go to. Eat some food while we're inside the shop as well. Once we're back into the town proper. Lots of stale chocolate bars there. That's fine, it's okay. When we get our new organs, for being Space Marines, we'll be fine. I'll be able to
This stuff will come in handy.
digest that stuff. And a pry bar, always good. Also some money as well. Excellent. We're making it rain at a local club later on in the evening. Should local clubs still be open in this barren winter wasteland. Not much else. We go back to our main house. Looking around, we've basically looted the entirety of the town. And now it's all about planning. What are we going to take with us? Found lots of shite. So what is going to be useful for us? Well, naturally, we're going to be thinking books. Things to start fires with, but also to add to fires. They are quite heavy there. We don't want to carry too much wood with us, because obviously we could just find wood wherever we go. A simple toolbox in case we need to manufacture some stuff. Take some antiseptic, because infections are really debilitating. We go for some newspaper. We go for some newspapers. Or toilet rolls, let's call it. Just in case it's not worse than running out of... Oh, there she is. Bless her. Keith's daughter. Don't you worry, Keith. We've got your revenge. Got your revenge against your wife. It's totally fine. We've got our bits and bobs. We've got some wood. We've got some heating stuff. We've got some food. That's the main thing. Now, going towards the petrol station that we saw earlier on. We saw a wolf. That's fine. We managed to circumvent him good and proper. And making our way down over on this side. The Orca gas station. Oh, right, okay, so gas station. So Canadians call it gas. Which, bearing in mind, boys and girls, I know, you know, old school way of talking, but, you know, gas is not a liquid. But petrol is. And here we see a sin.
Best
It's
be
a
prepared
cup
for
of tea. It's in a microwave. We drink it anyway because we're British. You know, it's a fun fact that every British person, the moment they see tea, they drink it instantly. We also see some fish in a box. And box fish is the best kind of fish. But nothing else major from the gas station. Gas station fish. Always a healthy way of eating and living and stuff. Yeah, we're cool. We're fine. Gonna keep our torch out just in case another wolfy wolf comes out to say hello to us. And I've got a feeling these birds are up to something. Maybe Grandfather Odin is showing us the way. We follow the birds. Lo and behold, off the main road, we see a house. Now I know, because I'm a little bit familiar with all the areas here. I'm not super duper. I don't know all the areas like the back of my hand, but I do know that this house is near a climbing area, and the climbing area leads to the cave, which will take us to the next area. So we go inside. Not much else to shout about. Before I actually do any major looting of this place, I want to double, triple make sure that I am in the right place. It's cloudy. Won't be able to see much. There's a nice little house, not a house. A pavilion? Is that what we call these areas? Camping area? Either way, a little bit run down. Found some fizzy pop there. That's always good fun. There we go. There's our climbing area, so we definitely know that we're in the right area. So climbing down here, there's a large area where there's a cave. And then carrying further on, there is a climbing up area. And that will take us to where we need to go. So I'm going to do a little bit of drawing. Seeing where we are. And yes, indeed, we are definitely in the right area from what I can understand. Orientation is not my strong point, but that's okay. Fine. Got some more lantern oil. Find some more toilet paper. What else do we grab from these places? Scrap metal, in case we need to repair things. Start another fire.
That did it.
Which is always good fun. In theory, we shouldn't need to really keep this place too warm, because we're indoors, so it should naturally be quite warm. But we're going to keep the fire on the go just in case. We drink some tea, which will give us more health recovery when we go to sleep. Or just a quick 4-hour kip. Just to see how things go. All goes dark. And when we wake up once again, we are now on day 15? Day 15, that's what I want to say. Go for another sleep. So we're not quite there yet. When we wake up once again, the weather's changed. It's not great. But on day 15, halfway through the challenge, we can't exactly just wait for the weather to change. We've got to be a bit bold, we've got to be a bit brave, we've got to be a bit brash, some would say. So what we're going to do with our trusty cans, we'll boil some more water. Oh, am I going to boil water? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to boil some cups of tea, or coffee even. What that's going to do is that's going to give us a little bit of energy, a little bit of warmth while walking around. And also, I've got a spare cup of coffee in the backpack as well. So when we naturally get colder, we can drink that on our travels, and that will warm us up just a smidgen. But look at how visibility has changed. We can't see much at all. So we're really going to have to hug the walls of the downward areas to make sure that we find the cave and that we find the climbing up area. Thankfully, though, climbing down doesn't take much energy. We are a bit over encumbered. So we're looking at our pack and seeing what is the heaviest item we've got at the moment. Water, but also the fish. So before we climb down, we eat a kilogram and a bit of fish. Which now means that we're able to climb down. Which I just find personally quite funny. That other man just woofing down an entire fish before descending. Or before being even able to consider descending. Here we are, in the darkness. And it's just so easy to get lost in these environments. We're quite cold now, so we're going to have a look for wherever we put our coffee. There we are. Still hot though. So we're able to gulp that down. That will bring us back up to half warmth. Super useful. From this point onwards, we are basically powered by coffee and fizzy drinks and stale chocolate bars, which is really just the diet of a champion. We keep pushing on through the darkness and the maze till eventually we find a cave. The cave is very important because the idea is that we're meant to be able to use this as a kind of a way station. Should we get lost, should times be desperate, We don't have much in the way of fuel. We left a little fuel back at home. We thought we'd be able to find fuel on the way, and we did. So that's all good. That's all gravy. We're going to put both firewoods on. Make sure it gets as warm as possible. Checking through the bags. We'll find some more jumpers and matches. We're not going to worry about matches for this game. We've got basically about 100 plus matches so far. Sadly, though,
Can't feel my feet.
can't really find warmer things. But, oh, there we go. Our new hoodie. We can stick that on. We'll place our decent dress shirt with that. He says if we put it on, or you can do it. Yeah, there we go. Able to dress yourself. That's a really important part. Being a member of the Adeptus Astartes. Sadly, the fire is not keeping us warm. So we need to make use of the coffee and the tomato soup that we found, which will save us from freezing. It's not the worst scenario ever. However, it's not as warm as we want it to be. So rather than waste time, we're going to push out back into the cold. We need to find that climbing rope. But we do eventually. A little bit tired, so we're going to eat some crackers. I don't know why I chose to eat crackers. Maybe because I am crackers myself. Also can of Coke, or can of Fizzy Pop, whatever I drink then. Just for additional energy. And we're going to ascend as best we can. Thankfully though, we're not tired. At least not anywhere near as tired as we were the previous climb upwards. So we are able to push on and push up with very little in the way of problems or dramas for us. But we are freezing. So on top. Now we're going to make sure to avoid any perilous drops as well. It's hard to see where in front of us is, where falling down is. Actually in this scene we just narrowly avoid just charging off the side here. We do find a big log that we can traverse over. Would not envy the position of a man who's got to tightrope his way across an icy and snowy bit of bark. We'd manage it, and we continue to push on. It's a narrow strip of land that we go across, and my god, it feel like forever. With frostbite just inches away from permanently decreasing our health. Kept on going on and on and on. Did not feel like we were going to find the cave. But eventually, when all hope was lost, when all hope was gone, we found the cave. And here we are. Cave is warm, or at least warm enough to sustain us. We light a fire. We push forward. We can always set up a camp later on. Find another aspirant. Not much on him. Clearly these aspirants didn't have much going for them. It's probably why they died. It's the same reason why I died, to be honest. We find a small arms handgun book. Be useful for learning how to use a gun. Increases our firing skills should we be able to read it in our spare time. And lots of colour as well, as is standard. On the side, right, okay, well, we have got a torch already on. So may as well use that to set fire. But I'll complete until I forget to use it, just use matches instead. That was the thought process. We're calm, we're safe, we're warm, we're fully fed, fully read. May as well go for a sleepy while we're here. And look at that. Day 16. And our stats are pretty good. We've got loads of useful items. Coffee out the wazoo. We've got our flare gun. The only thing we need now, really, is an actual gun. Now we're here in Mystery Lake. Well, there's a fair few structures here. There's no towns. But there are a couple of structures. Hunting lodges, radio towers and all that stuff. Have a look at this broken down barn. There's not much really to be seen about it, but over the distance there is a hunting lodge. Now, if there was ever a place for a gun to be, hunting lodge is the place for it. See a couple of crosses. Okay, we'll have a look at these guys. Off in the distance, a wolf howls, and we think, you know what? No time to spend on the dead. Not when we're alive. May as well press on and see what we can find in the lodge. So we get inside. Now, the idea here is that this being a trapper's cabin, there should be, in theory, some kind of weaponry on the go here. We found some books, found some charcoal, found the usual good stuff, and actually finding some perfect rifle ammunition. So that's a good sign. If we just check all the nooks and crannies, because sometimes they are hiding around in the unseen places, might be able to find some stuff that we can use to kill a wolf. We've got our flare gun. That's part of the challenge done. Just need to keep that, really. We don't find much at the moment. We check, or we break an entry into someone's safe. What do we find in here? We find an arrow.
I can use this.
No bow there. An emergency stim. Quite useful for if we're in the absolute sticks. But sadly, we check everywhere and everywhere, and there's no weapon. So we think, right, okay, sod that. Nothing to be had there, really. We've already got all the food and water and coffee and fizzy pop that we could possibly need. But yeah, it's frustrating. Now, a simple arrow, that's useful, because, I mean, if we ever find a burr, I mean, you don't really find burrs in this game, but you can make them. However, it does take a long time to make a burr. You've got to find guts, and dry them, and then you've got to find saplings and stuff and dry them as well. But that's okay, we found a cargo thingamajiggy, whatever that's called. Can't really read it, the screen that I'm using at the moment is quite small. I do apologise, but found a box somewhere to try and head off in that general direction. Making sure that we're staying on top of the hills so that wolves can't surprise us from round the sides. It's quite easy to get lost in this area, and the last thing you want to do is start recovering and sleeping for a long time in the outdoors. For obvious reasons, don't want to freeze. So go in here, an unnamed pond, and we find a rifle cartridge and some peaches and some toilet roll, but nothing really major. So in frustration, I throw my stick away. Heavens to Betsy. Find some more cattails for the tinders and all that stuff. Won't be swiping left or right on anyone today, though. Too busy being a space wolf, or at least trying to become one. But nighttime is approaching, and we see this handsome little mountain up top, and just over there, see a fence. We definitely know that if there's a fence or signs of human life, that there must be some sort of human structures nearby, in theory. So we hear the wolves, we make sure that our torches are at the ready, do some more mountain goating, eventually find our way onto the upward path. Now, we are getting a little bit tired, we are getting a little bit cold as well. Just to double check, make sure, there we go, that is a watchtower, a fire tower of some description. So when we get to the top of here, there should be a nice place to stay, as well as a wonderful vista, wonderful view that we can treat ourselves to. So start a fire, not a particularly large one, just enough so that we are able to get warm, have some more coffee so we're not incredibly cold or tired on our upward incline. But with a bit of deja vu, my goodness, I try and keep the fire going, don't realise what's going on actually. The wind picks up, so I think, right, okay, well, we need some more torches anyway, so we'll take them. May as well not let the fire go to waste. I climb up the mountain. Now I realise that in this cold, the torches won't work, and if we see some wolves as we're climbing the mountain, well, we won't be able to do much. So I've got the flare out, or the flare gun, to shoot something, and look at that. How depressing is that? I've took all the effort and energy to get to the top of this mountain, and the watchtower has been destroyed. There's no chance of us finding a nice place to sleep up here today. Put away the gun, try and see if there's any useful things. An energy bar, it's always good, but would have much preferred if the indoors was a thing. Check in here for any supplies. We've got a mountaineering rope that's quite heavy. Also found some stump removal, which we can use to manufacture some bullets. But we're not in the mood to make bullets. We're in the mood to get warm. Seeing if I could just get up even higher. I don't know why I was thinking that. I just bitter and disappointed in myself. Looking over the edge, can't really see much, can't get a general idea, can't orientate ourselves in the direction that would help us. So this is a major problem. Sit in the corner, see if we can make a fire. Like we say, doesn't matter if this fire doesn't keep us warm, because we can make things to keep us warm, which is just a cooking pot full of coffee. That's our saving grace at the moment. There's one thing I've learned in this playthrough, it's that coffee saves. Just a shame that in this game You can't get a good cup of tea apart from herbal tea. But herbal tea isn't real tea, in my opinion. Herbal tea is not real indeed. So I'm just going to make infinite amounts of coffee. I think that's the plan. Maybe a bit of food as well? Ah, there we go. Some tomato soup as well. Soup is good food for the soul. And once we've made that, we are now just going to blindly wander into the night sky. If we can follow the path, that might lead us to a road. Although he says that, and then instantly doesn't follow the road. Right, okay, this is where I went wrong. I should have just followed the path. But no, the inner mountain goat calls. Oh, I know. My thinking was that if I circumvent the winds and bends, be able to find the path again much quicker, and then just continue our journey. But sadly, unfortunately, I sprained my ankle. Gotta make sure that I bandage that up there as quickly as possible, because sprinting is going to be quite important to making sure that we can keep our speed up. With the clear cut, I don't know what that means. I assume it's where the trees get felled at freezing temperatures. Thankfully, we've got portable warm. Always useful. Always a good sign. Oh, we've lost the footpath. We've no idea where we are. Completely and totally lost once again. I tell you now, I hope that becoming a space wolf doesn't involve blooming cartography and map reading. But at this point, I realise, right, we can't really push on any further. We've got a limited amount of coffee left. We've got a limited amount of hot stuff and hot drinks, so we're just going to have to stay put. Hide in this little corner and just hope and just pray that the storm eventually subsides. So we just sit in the corner. Sit in the corner and try and keep our hands busy. The devil makes work of idle hands. Just constantly restocking on the good Java. I love coffee, I love tea, I love the Java Jive. Well, I hope it loves me. And that's all we're going to do. We're also going to try and even go to bed. But sadly, it's not quite the case for us. We're not really able to sleep in a vertical position without running a risk of rolling down the hill. It's just a case of just sitting around and, you know what? We're in no rush. The storm isn't getting us. Thankfully, it's warm enough. I think that now that we're wearing actual decent clothing as well, that we're able to keep ourselves warm in the blizzard while sat next to a fire. So that's kind of useful for us. What's our plan? We've got loads of things to heal. We've got sprains and pains. So may as well, while we're knocking about, start self-medicating. This is, I think, is round 7. Oh no, we're just making as much water as possible. And we're running out of fuel, really. So I've got to kind of start burning things. Now, I don't plan to do much gun repair, so I'm going to burn that book. I'm going to burn the remainder of our sticks as well. Might even... No, we're going to save our torches for later. We're still feeling hopeful. Just look at that. It's no way anyone's going to navigate their way through this. Eat more peaches. Got to keep that morale up. If you lose hope, that is the real killer in the wild. As we go about, praise the Emperor. The rage of the storm finally subsides. Visibility still is a bit naff, considering that it's night time. But if there was a time to manoeuvre, it'd certainly be now. So grab our last torch from the fire, and we'll make our way out of that happy little curve that was our home for a good solid half of the night. Push on, we go forward. And the ominous music just makes it a little bit scarier when we go in. Thankfully, though, we've got fire. And when we've got fire, no one can get us, in theory, unless, of course, we get too close to them without realising. The wolves are tenacious beasts. You can't always predict exactly how they're going to react. We're wobbling on. I think we've got a sprain at this step. You can tell by our not exactly straight kind of walking.
So good.
But the sun is rising. That is useful. Just got to get a little brighter, a little bit easier to see. But causing us some issues. He's a wolf. Can't exactly see him very well where he is in the dark. I know roughly where he is based on the sounds. Too many stumps, you see. The stumps are the same kind of size and height as a wolf. But yeah, I can now see where he's coming from. I'm gonna march over a hill, hopefully lose him. Trying to break line of sight with him. But he can smell us. He can smell us from a mile off. And as our talk's getting smaller, don't want to run the risk of trying to swap. So we see if we could throw more stones at him to scare him away. Take that, you vagabond, you vagrant. Dear oh dear. Thankfully, by the grace of God, the wolf is terrified away from our flare. Our flare gun anyway, our distress pistol. So take that, you wild beast. We can now carry on our march. But keep an eye out there, that wolf did run in this general direction. It should be in theory no problem for us. We scare a wolf away once. They tend to stay away, they tend to know what's best for them. They know who the wolf daddy is, and that is us. We are king of wolves today. We found the path, found the road, and thankfully, look at this. Managing to catch a glimpse of civilization, a logging camp. So what we do is that we go straight in. Now looking at my notes, I've just realised that I've been counting the days wrong. We're actually 1 day ahead of my original schedule, so we are on day 18 now, after surviving the night out in the open. So, yeah, the time is quite limited, and at the moment we're just looking for bits and bobs just to keep us warm and stuff. We do find, outside of one of the log-in buildings, a stove for cooking on. I don't think there are any stoves inside anywhere. And we're just looking for anything that can also keep us warm. And also, heaven,
There's got to be something
just
here.
praying with all our might that we can find some sort of gun of some description. Even if it's poor quality. At this point, guns tend to be relatively high quality. But we know we'll take anything at this point. We only need 1 wolf skin. We only need the 1 to prove our worth in combat. But sadly, we just found Fizzy Pop. And we'll go for a sleep. That's what we're going to do. It's 1 full sleep, and now actually, spending a whole day recovering and stuff, this is now day 19. So we've now got 11 days across the remaining parts of this journey, and survive, which is, we're almost up to 2/3 of our time. The time is of the essence, but rushing forward, not going to do us any favours. You can hear that, a little rattling. That's the sound of a storm outside. And we are not making the same mistake again. We're trying to traverse the storm, so we're just going to chill out on the inside. Find stuff to do, find stuff to keep us occupied. Looking at that chair, hoping that we can sit down, but I'm afraid sitting down is not a thing. So we're just going to drink all the Fizzy Pop that we can to, just inspire us. Maybe that is what is pumped through your heart when you become a Space Marine. And reading a little book as well. It's always good to do some learning. The Adepts Astartes are as much academics as they are warriors. I think, or is that just Ultramarines? There must be wisdom passed down the long fangs, the long claws and all that. There we go, reading a bit. And now the storm has dissipated. So taking a note, we find that we are at least north of where we're meant to be. Because the way out of this area in Mystery Lake is in the north area. Eventually we should find, I think it's railway tracks. And once we find the railway tracks, we follow them up north. And then that is how we escape. So have a nice little bit of breakfast. Or dinner, or tea, whichever time of day it is. Kind of lose all sense of time in a game like this, especially when your sleeping pattern's all over the place. But look at that bright sunshine now. A perfect little day for a countryside walk. So we are trying to orientate ourselves which way is north, and we think, at least we get a general trying to look at these buildings. It's the one furthest from each other, more the 3 to the north, so we think that this is the way forward. So we're going to make our way, do some good old-fashioned ongoing, and there we go, look at that. It is the railway. So all we need to do is just follow this north, and that should take us to the good times. At least I hope I picked north. Can't quite remember if I'm able to. It's hard to tell which way is north and south without a compass. Look inside a train, because trains are cool. No matter how old you are, trains are always awesome. I found another handbook for guns. Might be able to do some double learning in our spare time. But if you see that, there's a little actual watchtower that isn't been knocked over. So our thinking is, well, we've come this far, and I want to get a really good look at the view. I want to get a good, scene, kind of, take the environment in. So I might detour us just a little bit. I mean, we're still going in the same direction anyway. And we still need to warm up as well. So we climb as far up as we can. And that watchtower is definitely not been knocked down. So that is going to be a nice place for us to potentially look for some weapons. Although while climbing up, we do see this wreckage of an aeroplane. A great shame. Somebody must have been flying in the middle of a storm. Not quite made it. We find the corpse of an aspirant.
Freezing.
That's what you get for using planes, my friend. Gotta rely on the feet. The feet won't crash. Might sprain an ankle or two, but it won't crash. And we climb on inside. Look, Ma, I'm a pilot now. Found a flare gun, or a flare shell, should I say. That's it. Nothing much. And here we are. Thing of beauty. We're so excited. We see these pigeon things. We think, right, you have our food tonight. We missed completely. We don't want to waste time. We've got food anyway. So it's just, it's great. We see a flag and think, oh my goodness. God save the king, or whatever national anthem they have. It's nice that we have the same king, isn't it? It's what really unites us as a planet. If we all just had the same king, wouldn't that be wonderful? The music swells. What I really like about this scene. It's building up all our effort, all our time. It's been a difficult journey so far. We're only halfway there. But the fact that we're still cracking on with it, the fact that we've not given up, means that there's still a chance. And there's something so dangerous, there's something so deadly. It's remarkably beautiful, is a winter scene. Never been a fan of the cold, I'll be honest. Always preferred being in warmer climates. There's something haunting about just a wintry hellscape like this. Just nothing but sand, not sand, nothing but snow. Snow and trees. In isolation. I'm gonna go inside and see what's what. If we can find anything useful. We find some more rifle ammunition, very useful. Can we find a rifle? Sewing kits, antibiotics. If we want to take up sewing, repairing our clothes. Found lots of flare shells as well. And a skillet. Look at that. So we can do some actual proper cooking if we really wanted to. The radio's not working. I'm afraid that it'll only start working if there's an Aurora Borealis. We do have a knife though. That's useful. So when we have to skin a wolf, we will be able to do so with relative ease. Do some reading. It was roundabouts the end of the day. And it's not good. It's not good at all. The storm is approaching once again. Just sleep some more. Pass the time. I don't really want to start manoeuvring when it's night time. I want it to be a bright sunshiny day the following day so we don't get lost when we go back down the mountain. Trying to keep the fire ongoing. And just as the sun starts rearing its head, it starts plumbing, storming again. So options are fairly limited then. We've got, well, I mean, we're on day 20 now. We've got 10 days left. We can't really spend much time waiting for storms and stuff. So we're going to prepare ourselves. We've left a couple of cans on the floor. We're starting some sort of homeless collection. The most unceremonious way of trying to leave the building. There we go, Mr. Landshark. Just go through. That's the way you leave a building. Yeah, it's just a case of going back in the storm. It's not what we wanted. Not what we wanted at all. But it's something, gosh darn it. All we have to do is make sure that we're pointing towards north. So I try my best. Be right, okay, well, north is this way. So I'm going to just go on a straight line. And even if we get lost, don't find any structures or any kind of general ideas, at least we're going in the right direction. That's the idea. Found some sticks there. Like a young man walking through a forest, everyone likes picking up sticks, no matter the weather. And eventually, the blizzard stops. And in a frantic manner, as the wolves come up, we're like, oh shit, something else. But we scare them away. We've got fire. We've fire on the fury. And just on the cusp of this hill, we do find the railway tracks again. Super duper useful. Amazing stuff. Well, the question is, are we further north? Further south? There is the watchtower. We've also found a little building as well. So just doing a little bit of scribbling to see where we've gone. And you'll never guess it, we've gone south. Of course we've gone south. Why would we go north? You know, that would require me being able to traverse blizzards quite well. But no, apparently that is a skill I do not have at all. Got a storm lantern there, incredibly useful in case we need to have some light when it is too stormy. But we're just coming in here exclusively just to really see if there's any kind of weaponry on the go. Do find some maple syrup. With us being in Canada, I just feel that I need to just guzzle that down straight away. Just the rules. Don't eat all of it though, but we eat enough of it. Let's collect some bits and bobs around the place. Found another aspirant. Just sitting down, chilling out. It's still got nothing. All these aspirants don't really have much, do they? Survival Outdoors book. Be great for helping us learn how to make fires without the fires breaking down every 2 seconds. Not much, really. Not much at all. Find more books. Some crisps as well, and a note as well.
Beansy and I came up this way in the summers when we were knock-kneed goofy kids. We finished and played with swords made of sticks, wave leak baskets from reeds. You could row across the lake, those little cabins at the far end where the tourists came and fished, hunted the deer, and had their parties. We stood behind the counter and watched Dad welcome them, looked at the guest book and read the names. When the summer was nearing its end and the cattails turned to fluff, we blew our wishes to the sky. Always to come back. Always.
Foolish children making wishes on cattails. Only have faith in the God Emperor, and he shall deliver. But yep, don't find much. But we do use our skillet to cook some peaches. That's always good fun. I was going to cook some dog food as well. But we are the wolves. We are the wolf time. No, sorry, that was pork and beans. Fair enough. The dogs can eat it still. Don't think dogs are allergic to beans or pork. Now the key is to remember which way is north, which way is south. There we go. There's the trains. So we go forward. And we are now on track to leaving this place. We do find, what do we find? More ammunition. This one is rifle, sorry, it's revolver ammunition. But still no revolver. We are currently gunless. We are maidenless in the firearm department. And just over in the distance, I think we see some wolves. Yeah, we do. So we think, right, okay, well, we can run the risk of skirting around the railway, I feel. And that's what we do. We do something like that. I made the video edit for this quite some time ago, so I can't exactly remember how we did this. But that's fine. We avoid the wolves. We found a car. Come in. Brum brum. I'm in my mum's car. Get out my car. Remember Vines? I remember Vines. They were like pure and innocent TikToks. Considering that they only lasted 6 seconds, which is the ideal amount of time one of those videos should last. But we found some simple tools. We don't pick it up there. We're not planning to craft anytime soon.
That'll come in handy.
Firearm cleaning kit, though. That will become incredibly handy. Should we actually find a weapon? We think... Okay, so... For limited time, we're approaching day 21. And what we're going to do is that we're going to go into this large building here. It's basically a water dam. Or dam for water, whatever you call those things. Upper dam. Hydro, that's the hydro dam, that's the one. Okay. Hydro. And we're going to search everywhere. We managed to find a revolver cartridge. An evil fish staring at us. But other than evil aquatic life forms and ammunition, we spent a good solid few hours searching through that. Up to the point where we're now in day 21 officially. In fact, very little sleep. But undeterred, we push on, we push forward on a long, winding path. Can't imagine a train really fitting down here, but then again, those trains weren't huge and big, were they? And finally, we get to the edge of Mystery Lake. And we come to what's called the Ravine. Ravine Falls railway line. Found a little bridge. It's quite cool. Always like a good bridge. Throw some sticks in the river below us. If there is a river, I don't think there is. But if you've ever dropped poo sticks in a river before, not sure why they're called poo sticks. I think it's because Winnie the Pooh did it. Got another train. Hello, train. How are you doing? Is there anything inside you? That's my question. That's a question of everyone. So we're approaching
Need to find someplace
where
to
we
escape
should
this
be.
cold.
All our efforts will be for naught if we don't accomplish our mission. Are any of these trains open? Yes, one is. That's useful. Going inside, we find another aspirant. Curl up in the fetal position. We find, once again, another blooming firearm book. But could I have, like, rather than a book, could I have a gun instead? The pictures of guns are very nice. But make sure that we feel nice and motivated. We make pancakes in that little house that I found near the railway. We found some ingredients, so save them for later. And, you know, I mean, I don't think there's any better survival food than a good honking choice of pancakes. Frying away in the pan. And look at those delicious, elegant pancakes. I mean, you know, not saying I'm a perfect cook, but, I mean, they are elegant. I don't know what makes a pancake elegant, but maybe it's just because I made them. You make it with love, right? That's how you do it. So we've got to cross on the other side because that was a dead end. That's a hauntingly beautiful view as well. Love a good valley. So in a very cold version of Wales. Also found these little rocks. Now this is cool because these are this spread across the planet. Or the map, should I say. And the backers who kickstarted this game got a little message in there. Also, a lot of the notes that you find in the game that I've been doing AI voice work for has been made by the backers. It's pretty sweet. Found a man asking for a hug. We say nay. But we'll take your energy bar. Thank you very much. We'll cross another log/thick branch. Seeing what we can see on the other side. Relatively calm, this area. Don't normally find many wolfies. Especially near the train tracks. Maybe further down the valley you do, but on top, not so much. That's just another that's just another pretty view, isn't it? Just standing around, looking at views like this all day. If we weren't busy with a mission. We keep on going on. We are now in a tunnel, which is approximating the next area. I do believe, yep, we are in the new area. Completely forget what this place is called. But essentially it's a very long... Oh, no, we're not. We're not in the new area. We're still in the ravine. Because we've got one more obstacle to overcome. A man-made structure. When all the world has collapsed and there's not much left of humanity left. There are still things left. We look down and we see that, yes, even nature has crumbled. But the machines and the structures of mankind still hold firm, at least for now. The creaking of the boards underneath don't fill me with a lot of enthusiasm and hope. Gotta be careful, making sure that we don't lose our footing here. To inspire myself, I think, right, okay, well, what can make us feel better about traversing such a tricky thing? There we go, we'll eat our pancakes. We saved them for later. I didn't want to eat them warm. I was hoping to eat them warm, but I kind of left them too late. That's my fault. Cold pancakes aren't terrible. And we're going to be very careful on this little narrow piece of metal. That's where we'll fall if we make a bad foot. Just very carefully. Now imagine these are probably frozen over with ice as well. Look at your boy. We could join a circus if we wanted to. The Harlequins would probably be very impressed with that display of walking and stuff. There we are, Coastal Highway. The next place. So look going strong. Did that entire area in one day as well. In less than one day, actually. That's no problem for us. Yeah, did we have a little nap while we were over there? Absolutely. But that's totally fine. I'm going to scratch and sniff and see what we can see. And yeah, so essentially we're going to go right. We're going to go eastward. Following the railway. Railway? The railway. That's a hard word to say. Look at that. That's falling down vertically at the moment. I've really mastered the art of mountain goating here. Maybe that should be like the Space Wolf successor chapter, just the mountain goat. Here comes another wolfie. And we're going to try and use the downward motion of running down a hill to get us through this. You know, the wolf speed isn't increased when he goes downhill, but ours is. It's no problem for us. No problem at all. And we're low on energy, so what do? We have a blooming energy drink. Now full of beans for a little while. It will give us a headache when we eventually run out of fuel. But we just need a little bit more energy just to keep on going forward. We found a road. Which, fun fact, if you're not familiar with Hull, a really common thing that we say is, oh no, there's snow on the road. Because that is what our accent sounds like. An awful amalgamation of not pronouncing words right. But look at that. A big old frozen... Well, actually, it's not frozen lake. We are actually at the seaside now. This is the ocean, technically. From what I understand. And this is also where a lot of wolves congregate. We'll be seeing a significant increase in wolfy activity. But shelter has came for us. And we can now go in and get warm and also rest. And what do we find in here? Just scrounging on for some more stuff. Dog food, the usual gubbins. Nothing too crazy as far as I can remember. And also going upstairs, we find a man lying down on the floor. Hello, man, how are you doing? A hacksaw.
Thank goodness.
Useful for breaking down pieces of furniture. Also breaking down metal should we require it. Steal some clothes. Just because we can. I like it in moments like this. It's nice and peaceful. You know, the music isn't swelling too loud. Too loud even. We'll go for 10 hours kip. So it's now day 21. Starting the next leg of our journey. We wake up. We're dying of thirst, but thankfully we've got more fizzy pop. There's always more fizzy pop. And by the light of a storm lantern, it's just really nice. You know, I like the sound. Sounds like this. It's relatively quiet. Hear the light wind on the outside. Yeah. That's what it's all about, man. The little things that make you feel safe and warm. And we're trying to read stuff. Look outside, see if we can see the sunshine. It's not rising just yet. Like I said, there's a light bit of wind on the go. And what do? I think we read. I'm absolutely certain we read. Yes. Go on, pick a book, Mr. Landshark. Surviving the outdoors. We certainly need to learn more about that. And start reading. Lo and behold, we didn't have enough lantern fuel. Silly us. Can't see it now, so we'll light a match. See if we can strike up and see what we can see. Pick it up and just casually throw our lit match at the handsome family pictures on the other side. I thought that we could put the accelerant inside the lantern, but to no avail. And so instead, right, we think, well, you know what? Day 21. 9 days left. Still got this area and another one to go through before we get to our last area. And if we die once, you know what I mean, that's not good. That will put us into dangerous territory. So while the weather is not a total shit show, we are going to press on. Hard to navigate in the dark, as we've known before, but this area is actually a lot easier to navigate considering that you just keep the sea to your right hand side. Go inside, find a new place. Form a new fire. Keeping warm. Reclaimed wood, we can always use that to burn. I After all, reclaimed wood doesn't burn brilliantly. It's also a lot heavier.
use
Oh, we
this.
find some new socks in this house. Apart from new socks and staying warm, we don't really find much else. So we leave, and we find another petrol or gas station. Moving in between both petrol pumps with an open flame. That's not advisable. Don't do that. Even if it's not been used for quite some time. But we find some flour. Maybe we'll bake some more pancakes later on with that. We'll just keep on looking in. Seeing what we can see. This is also a workshop as well. So workshops are always quite good to find potential forms of weaponry. More flares. More flares indeed. We also found another note.
2 more joined us today. Seems their horse couldn't go any further. One of them's called Sean. He's from Ireland. Not quite home, but close enough. Apparently, he came here for an acting career. Best thing, though, is that he's got a bag of fruit pastilles that he's going to share just with me. Probably for the best, since everyone's paranoid. The other idiots would probably think he was trying to poison them. I thought it would be safer this far north, less people and all. Maybe I should leave?
So there we go. Good old Irish
Could end
Sean
up being
coming in with some fruit pastels for the boys. But we're losing hope. We need a weapon. We're running out of place to actually find weapons here. We found a rifle cartridge, which might... spent one as well, so we might be able to find some sort of weaponry. And lo and behold,
This'll come.
we found the revolver ammunition, and just there, old
Just what I
Barbara's
need.
rifle. Good old Barbara, eh? You can always trust her with the good stuff. So this game has turned from a survival game to a first-person shooter. Find more lantern fuel. Just look at this bad boy. Just really satisfying. Oh, that sound, man. Mmm. Yummy for my tummy. But it's quite broken down, is this rifle. So, what we do in this circumstance is we spend the entire afternoon just repairing the rifle. Just all day. We're not too bothered by this. We are just content with making sure that it's the best kind of rifle it could possibly be. The last thing we want is for it to jam when a wolf starts attacking us. So feeling large and in charge, we eat some crackers, and my goodness, the hunter, soon to become the hunted. We are now the huntee, or whatever terminology you'd want to use for that. Got a rifle. We're not going to put it away. Would it make sense to keep our torches out so that the wolves don't surprise us? Absolutely. That would be a tactical thing to do. We've got blood in our veins. We could smell the hunt. And they're over there. See a wolf? Just in the crosshairs. But there are a good amount of wolves over there. And one man versus a pack of wolves probably isn't favourable. We're going to look to see if we can find some wolves riding solo. And maybe, rather than take on a pack, we can succeed that way. Problem is that while we've got some experience in a handgun by reading a book, we've got no experience in reading a rifle. So actually hitting something with a rifle, it's going to be quite difficult. On the bottom right-hand side, when I start aiming, there's a little reticule that tells me how long I'm able to hold that posture for before being massively inaccurate. I'm about to say, it's part to do with your stamina. It's not very long at all, and even when you're aiming, your crosshairs are still moving around quite a lot. So we've got to be careful. It's very easy to miss. Not quite getting it. Better to take the perfect shot than fire and miss. Hunter has to be patient, you know. We go for a shot. We managed to hit him, I think, because he starts running away. But not quite being able to get a second shot in. Got a limited amount of ammo as well. Don't have that much left. So every shot has to count. We just need one wolf. That's all. One wolf and then one the home stretch. So being careful to make sure that we don't get flanked by any more wolfies. Dangerous business. Even with a gun, the wolves can still bob and weave. They can still serpentine about the place. One wolf has noted us. Can we shoot him? Shoot and we miss. Oh dear. Can we get him? There we go. Oh, the sheer joy I felt in this moment. Checking our flanks to make sure no one tries to come and get us. There we are. One dead wolf. The hunting knife found earlier on. We skinned the bugger. Just have at him. Cut into him deep. Give him the old London hello. The old Brixton, how are you? There we go.
Need to find some place to escape.
Got all the things. We've got a hide of a wolf. It's all good, baby. It's all good. So now it's just a case of just getting to the lighthouse. Shining and bright house out of the waves of the stormy sea. That's where we're going. So we're going to drink some coffee and push further and further on. So, I lied. I think we've actually got 2 areas before we get to the lighthouse. That's fine. Still day 21. We've done a lot in one day. Done a lot in one day. But we are fastly approaching time to go to bed again. And like I say, 1 death now, and we lose everything. We lose the skins, we lose the rifle, lose absolutely everything. So we've got to be very careful. He says, oh no, here comes a wolf! Ha ha! You see that? How swift and nimble. I'd say that was pretty cool. I'd say that was pretty cool indeed, Mr. Landshark. And, well, you know what? We've already got 1 skin, but won't the teachers and trainers of the Space Wolves be even impressed when I get even more skins? Now I've got double skins. And if you've played League of Legends before, you know that skins means wins. We're doing good. We have another wolf coming on as well. It was further down the track. Shoot him down as well. That's 3 skins. Ha 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 ha. My goodness. That's almost 1 for every limb. Wolf limb. That's what they'll call me. My wolf name. But yeah, it's like as if we're going down Greatfield or the M1 or insert name of a road near your place where the local council don't bother fixing the roads. The road is broken. But we're looking for a cave to traverse into the final area. And lo and behold, there's a mine shaft. A proper door and everything. We take some wood? We take some wood just because we can. We're grown-ups, we can do what we want. And we are in the number 3 coal mine. Where is number 1 and number 2? I don't know. That's not our problem. And there's no point messing around. At this point, I genuinely have no idea how much time I've got left. No idea at all. So do a little bit of reconnoitering. Find some more fizzy pop. Generally, this is our new area. This is the final place. Desolation Point. But we are quite tired. There's no point in risking it by falling asleep and being unconscious in the open air. So we're going to spend one more night before we get to the lighthouse. Swift 12 hours, Kip. It's now day 22. Now it's just a case of making sure that we are safe as houses by the time it is to come. Sit by the lantern. Sounds like a storm outside. A last can of pop. As far as I'm aware, we can't light a fire because this is technically indoors. So some sardines will have to do us pass the time until the sunshine comes. And well, we are ready. Our gun by our side. Let's see if we can just push on the last few space. And look at that sunrise. A beautiful sunrise. And just in the distance, there's where the lighthouse is. 8 days to spare, potentially, if we can make it through. Can't climb. Well, we're not going to risk mountain goating down here. I don't think we do anyway. We'll just follow the road. Watch out for wolfies. And then we're there. So, you can hear the ocean gently lapping against the shore. Making no sandcastles today. That's fine. We've already spent long enough in this wintry hellscape, as beautiful as it is. Time to put our feet up. In the distance I can hear a wolf there. At least I think I can hear a wolf. Very alert. It would be very typical of me. Yeah, and I think, oh, no point in risking it. I'm going to put a flare out. I'm not risking it. As cowardly as this is, you're not getting me the last blooming hurdle of this adventure. But no, it's just a deer. Just a deer. So, in my shame, throw down the flare. Pick my gun back up. Nah. If I'm going to die, let it be here. Let it be on the cusp of victory. Looking over the sides. Yeah, the wolf is a fair distance away. He ain't going to be bothering us anytime soon. Unless, of course, we bother him. Could have gone for a fourth skin. But no. Deciding against it. And look at that beauty. Right over in the distance. A pillar of humanity in the darkness. But to our left, another wolf. Tries to charge at us. We give him a good old shoot away. But I don't think he was actually charging at us. I think just the sheer amount of wolf skins that we have on us makes us smell, and the wolves don't like the smell of their own dead. So I think we're actually immune to wolf charges now, I think, or at least we have a large chance of scaring them away.
I can't feel my feet.
Here we are, baby. Just got to cross over into nothingness. There's a bridge. It's always good fun. Love a good bridge. Just look at the way that the developers of this game paint the sky. Like a wonderful watercolour kind of feature on the go. Just listen to that ocean as well. Something calming about the ocean. Terrified of it, can't swim in it, but it does sound nice and it does look pretty. The ocean's nice so long as I'm not on it. Or in it. Hold back the urge to sing God Save the King again. As we move forward into the lighthouse, the shining and bright house. The sun rising off in the background. And well, it's been a journey, hasn't it? We died quite early on a couple of times, but once we found our footing, I feel that we got our bearings. And, well, we almost died as well by getting lost several times in the storms. But, you know, all we have to do is believe in ourselves. Oh, another note.
I keep hearing my mobile ring. Get excited every time. But it's just as dead as always when I check. I don't know why I still carry it around. Sean's been my savior, especially after Sue and Tori's suicide. He told me about how he always wanted to do Death of a Salesman. His American accent's pretty good too. We fell asleep in each other's arms last night. Sean wouldn't wake up.
Well, never mind you, Irish Sean, and freezing to death. You're not the first paddy to freeze to death, and you won't be the last. We're here. So fire the flares, aim at the pigeons, take that. Ha 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 ha. A successful run all the same. And I'll try and fire more. Not the most glorious way of firing multiple flares, but we've got the flares, why not use them? So yeah, it's been a really good, fun challenge. Don't know when I'm going to do another one of these. Don't know when I'm going to have time to spend so much time recording, editing, and then doing a voiceover for it. But I have an idea for a Night Lord challenge. I'm just going to learn the game first that I'm going to do for it. It'll be a surprise. You'll enjoy it. It'll be good fun. But yeah, if you liked this idea, then please do let us know, because, like I said, there was a lot of effort that went on into this, and you know, it's not easy. It's not easy putting this stuff together because it's not my forte. Like I said, I just kind of edited the clips, put it all together, and then just did a voiceover for it, because I can't really do scripts. Reading is hard for me, but rambling and waffling on, that is certainly more of my forte, so that's good, that's cool. And yeah, yeah, I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I'm just thinking, right, okay, well, waiting for the planes to come or the Thunderhawk to pick us up. I'm going to put the wolf pelts on the floor just to assert dominance or something like that. Got no idea. Yeah, so I think that's all I really need to say. It was a good video. I enjoyed making it, and I hope that you enjoyed watching it as well. And if you like this, again, just let us know. Got a Patreon, got a Discord, got all the usual stuff. If you like this video, and if this first one you've seen of me, we don't do these videos often. More of a Dawn of War kind of channel. But check it out, man. Check it all out. Anyway, look at the view. I'll see you in the future at some point. Take it easy. Peace.